We are sadly down a player this week.
Yes, we are sadly down Mercedes. 'Tis the season, and they work with sick kids all the time, so it makes sense that they're gonna have a few, what am I trying to say?
Sick days.
Yeah.
I was trying to say, times where they get, caught a bullet, on the front lines kind of thing. That's the joke that I was trying to make. I'm a DM, you guys. I also run podcasts. Oh, no.
The odds were not in her favor.
Clearly not. No. All right. So, welcome back to Cosplay Chronicles, episode 17.
Really? I know,
Been a
it's
while.
crazy.
Yeah. A lot has happened, and with the fact that Tolan/Mercedes is out, few rules for my table. When someone is out, they are usually on auto follow. I don't roleplay for them, nor do I do combat for them. That's entirely their bag, and I would hate to put myself in their situation because that's not fair to them. I might make calls differently than how they play it. So just to get that out there, we're just going to say that Mercedes is helping Grammy Ma move some things around for Billy to get Billy ready to go and make sure that he's got a comfortable place. And we'll even get a little RP for next time that Mercedes is in. Because we miss you, Mercedes, if you are well enough to turn on the stream. So, Pannon, what happened last time?
Oh boy. So last time, well, my notes are very rain centric because
Yes,
that's who I play. So after the convention, and because he touched that card, he still had lingering effects of the chain going on. And so when he went to bed that night, had some really messed up dreams about being stuck behind this very tall wall, hearing the sound of both a hammer on an anvil and the sound of chains. Basically was feeling a little bit torn between what sounds to follow. And he had some flashes of memory, and someone he knew showed up to take his arm and encourage him not to give up. And basically all the weight and anxiety in his mind just disappeared. So that was really cool. And Draxel and Vea, I will talk about their dreams a little bit if you guys want to. I have really slim notes on those, but they had cool dreams about some of the stuff that they've been doing. And let's see, we got approached by not a lot, but a handful of people who had heard about our group and wanted to have us enlist in their adventuring troop / organization, etc. We met with one, Alistar, who is a half-elf, with what was the name of the group?
The Green Morning Stars.
The Green Morning Stars. I wasn't sure if that was his weapon or if that was the name of the group. But they're a little Boy Scouty. Not sure if we wanted to end up following them, being part of their group, or maybe just taking advantage of their resources. So we were discussing that a lot. And then we also got notice from the Hammer group that we have worked with in the past, and had a note to meet with them at the park, and basically got enlisted to become part of the Hammer, or at least try out for stuff at this upcoming convention.
Okay, perfect.
So,
I would say that about hits all of the main points. Terrence offered you guys a tryout, an internship. Draxel rolled a nat 20 on his negotiation skills.
Dang.
On top of earning 100 gold a month. That is for the entire group, not necessarily for each of you at this point in time.
Still, though.
Still, it's really good. With that 100 gold a month, it also covers pet insurance and medical.
Working on that dental.
And, you guys will be receiving a letter in the mail for an all-expense-paid vacation to an unknown con at this point in time. And you guys got a week to decide what you guys want to do. So, unless there's anything that anyone else would like to add, we can begin.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's begin. It is the next morning. I will... Actually, you know what? I will not go into the next morning. One of the last things that you guys noticed just before the pitch was made is that, Vea, you cast Detect Magic, and you noticed somebody with some sort of illusion on them, and you linked in with Draxel to let him know that somebody to watch out for. Rain, you kind of read the body language, and you cast Detect Thoughts. The only thing that you could catch was somebody going, "Come on, you guys, come on, just buy into it." So I'm going to say at this point, like, it's the same night, and you guys have kind of accepted the fact that, like, this is going to be a possibility. Terrence takes his leave, so you guys are now more or less alone. Like I said before, this park is still a park. There is the drum circle of druids out closer to the edge of the forest, having a great time, just kind of communing and enjoying being distant from the world. A few kids here and there, just teenagers being teenagers, and a few adults just taking long walks. What do you guys want to do from here?
Oh boy. So Terrence has left.
Terrence has left. He has taken his leave.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of money.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Did you guys? I think there was someone else around. Did you notice that?
Is he still here?
You kind of check in on your magic, and you can definitely feel that there is something illusory within about 30 feet of you.
Yes. Okay. And within 30 feet, can you just come out?
Roll me a persuasion check.
I mean, like, we know you're over there, so it's kind of weird to just be invisible in front of people. But I know I'm not very convincing.
I mean, you knew that guy, right? You guys are both with the hammer.
What did you get?
A 6.
A 6. You kind of like say that, and you hear I'm not here. I don't know what you're talking about.
See, this is why I feel like I don't need to be all that persuasive with people. Like, you just gotta say the right thing.
So, who is it? Because I don't think I know. Who is it? Who's over there?
Is it a voice we would recognize?
Roll me a history check.
No. I don't recognize it.
5.
That's a 3.
18.
Oh, nice.
You recognize this as the Star voice.
I don't recognize the voice, so I take out my boomerang.
No.
There, where was it?
Okay. And she will point, like, right above.
Right above him.
Or, like, slightly to the right.
Okay.
So you're aiming right there. See, it's just funny to come in front of people who you know can detect magic.
Okay, okay, all right, okay, I'll drop it. Don't, Draxel, no.
I just don't, you know what? I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want.
And
who are you?
You see a hood drop, and you see someone in a no-face mask from Spirited Away. It's me, it's Char. It's Char.
Who?
I was the one who saved your sorry bacon from the giant chain creature.
Ow!
Yeah.
Do you remember
How
that?
you doing?
Hey, buddy. Hey.
I was totally gonna kill you.
I believe that.
Wasn't sure if you were part of the chain, and I was, we were being watched, and I was gonna kill you. No hard feelings. Just.
Yeah. I believe you. You definitely proved yourself last tussle that we had. Good job. How does Centaur taste?
A little like horse, so like it's not.
Oh.
Cool.
Have you eaten a horse before?
Have you not?
No, because it doesn't really seem appealing.
Well, I mean, if you're out and there's only a few horses around and you have no rations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he makes sense to me. So you guys think about taking up that offer? From Terrence?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, it seems pretty good.
We might be convincible, yes.
Convincible. Strong word. So do you guys have any questions that I might not be able to answer?
Something in your eye?
Yeah. Here, let me wink.
Okay.
Hard to tell with the. I mean, do you know anything about this upcoming mission? Is there anything you're able to tell us?
Well, you it's more of an elven con. It's near the elven cities. One of the weird things about the elven cons is that they're mostly outside, and they're kind of just in big tents. Because for whatever reason, the wood elves, they just want to be outside all the time. And it's actually centered around a giant tree.
Sounds intense. What do you know anything about the tree? Like, why?
I mean,
is it like of any sort of like special?
Metaphysically, I don't know. For their religion, of course, druids and elves, especially wood elves, have either taken residence up in the tree, around the tree, or grew up with this tree, and they constantly are trying to keep it in part of their life. It's in the Wise Pine Forest, which is northwest from here, from Karishkagal, and they'll be sending a boat for you, and they will sail you out.
So when we went to, obviously, Necrocomic-Con was a little bit of a mess because we didn't realize it was right on top of a trickster god's former kingdom.
He wasn't a trickster god. He was just a king that worshipped.
Right. That's what I meant. But anyway, is there anything weird like that? Any local legend we should be aware of?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay.
Again, be respectful of the giant tree, because that's where the con is around this giant tree. But all that I can really say is just there shouldn't be any big event like that. But we also didn't know that there was a trickster kingdom.
Right. All right. I don't know. Do you guys have any?
I mean, he just told us to spot and defeat the enemy. Is that still the same group, we're assuming? Or is there, do you guys have multiple enemies?
Well, right now, we only got the one.
Okay. I have a lot of enemies, so I don't know.
Do you?
Probably.
How many people have you shot in the Tuckus? Big numbers for you, dude.
It's I think 8.
Ooh.
Maybe. I've got a lot of enemies. Yeah, more. You know what? We're not going to go into this. Okay.
And that's one of the reasons we want you, because you are able to make amends with some of the people that you shot in said Tuckus.
Yeah. Great.
Is there anything, I don't know, druidic legend about these areas that she maybe would have heard of?
Roll me a history check with advantage.
5 and a 1. Terrible advantage, so a whole 6.
Oh.
So, you know that there is some druidic importance, but it's such an old story that very few people actually hold to these stories. The thing about trees is that even though their roots go deep, the people that are around these trees don't last as long as these trees do. The most that you can really recall is that Wise Pine is a kind of bastardized word for the halfling who planted the forest. Whizpin would have been their name. And that's the main thing that you can remember. Is Whizpin was the halfling that planted this forest in, for one reason or another, you're not 100% certain.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, I'm just excited. How long has this event been going on? Like, is it newer, established, or...
The con itself?
Yeah.
This has been going on for a couple of years. It's kind of one of those common places where people gather for events and whatnot. I think the anime convention itself side of things, I think it's just called BarkCon. BarkCon, yeah.
Okay.
It's been going on for about 10-ish years, maybe close to 15.
I don't know. I'm excited to see something like that because I have a tree connected to me. I don't know. It's special.
I mean, it sounds great to be. I mean, that's kind of where I just hang out in the forest, so that sounds great to me. Is it like the con itself? Is it like, how do I phrase this? It's just a bunch of tents and trees is usually not a very good spot set up in terms of security. Is it just, are there wild animals that get in? Is there a lot of, is there just a lot of danger to it with considering that, or?
Oh, no. They do fence off a majority of it, and I don't want to say they cleanse it, but they definitely you know how in hunting parties they kind of like skirt a line, they all walk the same perimeter together at the same pace. As they're fencing it, they walk that so that way like anything outside of the fence is pushed out, and then when they're all done, they pull the fence back in, so any wildlife or nature can just easily come back in.
Oh, okay. So it'll be fenced off. It won't be like, okay.
Yeah, and these are huge fences, like 12 feet tall. They get like Goliaths to like help carry the fence through. So they're giant. They're not something easy to like circumvent. Might be easy to break for like somebody with skill and talent, but we don't expect that to be the weak link, if you will. No.
Hey.
All right. I'm sorry. I'll see something out.
Any other questions?
I don't think I have
or
any.
just attending, or are we throwing stuff?
Unless we...
In a wake.
No, buy stuff.
That's true.
And I mean, I cosplay Fire Emblem, so
I mean,
that's transportable stuff. Is there anything you already have?
yeah, I have a couple of things in my closet. Yeah, I think, because, like, even though we prepared all of last time to have bait, basically, I think it would be good to have a convention where we're kind of the ones doing the searching and maybe, like, getting a better idea of how they operate so we know what to watch for in the future.
Yeah. So no competing this time.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to compete.
Oh, okay. Just to, like, wear?
Just, like, disguises.
Okay.
So we're not noticed, so we're a little more... Because the more we've gone to these conventions, the more recognizable, I suppose, we've been. I
don't know, like, when you're in costume, it's easier to connect to a fellow crafter when you're...
That's
right,
true.
right.
When you're just geeking out about... I mean, well, you don't, but like Trek Wars or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier if you're wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's true.
That fandom. And so if we want just a wide variety of people, maybe on some days we're in costume talking to fellow crafters, and other days we're just geeking out with people who are like us.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll see what I can find. I'll see what I have. Everything I carry is in here. It's like a big backpack that he just hauls around.
Well, it seems like you guys have got it good.
Yeah.
Insight check.
Go for it.
What is my plus? Am I proficient? I should be proficient. 15?
Oh, he thinks you're boned.
Ah.
You're so boned.
Goody.
We do.
And it's that confidence that leads me to believe that you are good to go.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your help.
I'll leave you with one thing though. this is something that you shouldn't know yet, and it's something that I'm taking a risk in inviting this knowledge to you. But be looking for a symbol that is used within my group. It's a gesture that they make with their hands to signify at a distance they are aware or signaling to other members. It is looping their two fingers together like this and then pulling it apart. Just a quick gesture. Doesn't have to do anything other than I am a member, the chain is broken. Think of it in that capacity. That's most that I can tell you. So that way you know if someone you're working with, or if you catch somebody making a strange gesture, you know they are on your side and not necessarily against you.
Have you ever considered the risks of having such an obvious hand signal?
Well, it's much more subtle, and it's not necessarily like, hey, look at me, Vea, look. It's much more subtle. It can just be adjusting a satchel. It can be reaching down and adjusting your belt. It's it's much more subtle than that.
Okay. I mean,
listen, I just joined the group, okay?
This attitude is totally coming from like the I don't know if you guys are gonna trying to hide it, and so her attitude is completely retaliation. I'm just like, I don't know. It would be real easy to pat your shoulder 3 times or
pat your shoulder 3 times. That's so visible.
You just joined? Like, how recently?
I was saying I just joined the group, as in like I just work here, man. Kind of mentality, right? I didn't just barely join them. I just work here. Kind of. That was. Please don't. I've been working with them for a while, so yeah. I just don't have any say in the fancy coded gestures or passphrases.
Sure. I mean, like, something's trying to hinder me, and it keeps happening at every place I go to, and so does this weird hand thing that they think is subtle. But, every time my plans get foiled, I think back, at some point at that weekend, I saw someone, adjust a button with both of their fingers.
I mean, I think it's fine.
You would.
Hey, listen, it's a good joke. It's a great joke, even. The DM's feeling a little attacked up here.
She looks over, after that, and just kind of tilts her head and just smiles.
And he kind of... All right. You guys need anything else before I check back in with Terrence?
Rain's just doing different Naruto hand gestures to be like, well, I saw these before, and then they do this other one that's
and he kind of mirrors with you for a little bit of yeah, it's fun, it's great, pointless, does absolutely nothing unless that's your magic. But
no, I mean, I'm just saying you see a lot of weird hand gestures at a convention from people being nerds and whatnot.
All right, I'm gonna go. You guys got some time to figure out whatever you guys are gonna do next. You've got my card if you need me, Ren.
Yeah.
Okay. And he puts the cloak back over his head, turns invisible, and after a little while, he leaves your field of detecting magic.
Me awkwardly. I'm walking that way. I'm sorry.
Hey, really?
I mean, we're just going home.
Come on, you guys. Come on. So let's say that you guys make it back to Grammy Ma's. Do you guys want to rest, or do you guys want to continue to roleplay? What do you guys want to do from here?
Faye is thinking about that tree.
Very excited.
Yeah. She's trying not to be that person that is bouncing uncontrollably, and then having someone come up and just be like, hey, what's up? Did you hear about that tree? She is trying not to be that person. And she is just awkward AF, so it's not easy.
I mean, I imagine Rain is looking through his spell books and whatnot and studying to see if there's anything specific that he would think would come in helpful. He's a little bit more worried because like trees and life and all that, and his is all necromantic magic. So he's just trying to study and not like psych himself out.
If you guys are going through that, considering that the dream that he had the last time, where he found his deity through just meandering in nature, doing what he did, he's probably going to not sleep tonight and go out because he really felt like this weird trickster deity. He felt an affinity for it while he was alone for all of his life. And it was this thing like he would play pranks on other people and like keep pushing them apart, but like he's kind of gathered in with these people, so he wants to be more protective, more something better. He wants to hunt stronger, so he's going to go and spend time in the forest, trying to hunt, looking for things. And he doesn't actually have another costume, so he needs to find something with a skull large enough to make a Cubone. So he's going to try and just like hunt, carve, wear that for the next con in a week.
Okay.
But he's going to be focusing on connecting with the things inside of him, looking for some kind of, I guess, deity, something to bless him in this hunt.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead and roll me just a nature check right off the bat.
Who hasn't betrayed me? 7.
So you feel like you're wandering around in the woods, in these forests for quite some time before you feel like you have come across a track. And like these tracks seem pretty stale, but it seems to be some sort of boar. Very large boar, but some sort of boar. Maybe that's potential. Maybe there's something a little bit larger. A bear probably would definitely have a skull that would fit you. But a boar definitely has that long angularness that like a Cubone or a Marowak could even have.
Knowing that we have a full week, I'll probably continue on the tracks after this boar. And if it's not what I'm looking for in the end, then it was just another hunt, and we have meat.
Okay. Roll me a survival.
18.
18. Okay. Once you kind of like determine like this is what I'm looking for, and you've got some time, you kind of like get into the rhythm of the forest. It doesn't take you very long, and the anxieties of everything else that is going on, like how did you get caught up in a world of cosplay competitions and some magical chain business and whatnot, kind of just fade away, and it doesn't take you very long before you find that you are hot on the trail of this boar. What do you do?
I am getting back into the swing of things, getting back into where I feel comfortable, where everything's good. I'm going to cast Pass Without a Trace on myself and keep searching.
Okay. Roll me another survival with advantage this time.
15.
15. And go ahead and roll me your stealth.
That was a 3, so 18.
18. As you are following the trail, how are you going about the trail? Are you like hugging trees to be stealthy? What are you doing?
How close are the trees together?
I'd say like less than 5 feet.
Okay, so for the most part, if he could, he'd be kind of like scurrying up the trees, coming from branch to branch, keeping off the ground, kind of watching the ground beneath him.
It doesn't take you very long to find the source of the trail. A large boar, large enough that you could feed probably a tribe of lizard folk off of for a good 2-3 days. A week, if you're smart, is gorging itself on its most recent kill. You slither and slank between branches, and not only are you able to kind of adapt, you hug with the wind. So as the air shifts the branches, you use that noise at your advantage to climb above it. And as you sit there above it, you hear this drumming in the back of your head. Just over and over again. It's quiet, but it's definitely noticeable.
Take a moment, just kind of embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it, waiting for the timing, waiting for like the adrenaline, for everything to feel right before kind of just like leaping down and trying to take this thing out.
Go ahead and roll me your attack with advantage.
I didn't actually say what I was using to attack. Where are my actions? Oh, bless the advantage. 18.
18. Okay, yeah, you're definitely going to hit. Tell me what this looks like.
So kind of just drops down with a dagger and tries to get the back of the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts sliding down to get around to the neck on the underside when he gets in. So just whoosh in, and then he's going to start trying to slide around on the next one.
Okay. So yeah, you plunge down and the knife drops in and you get into a good chunk of meat, but it doesn't bleed much. You're just hitting nothing but muscle at this point. As you rip and as you tear, it starts squealing and kicking. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
The dagger, so it's a little. I've never actually hit anything with this dagger yet. This is the dagger that drains life.
Yes.
So that is going to be 6 points of piercing damage.
6 points of piercing damage. You get 4 temporary hit points.
Sweet.
And just for your knowledge, I'm rolling a d4 from that.
Oh, cool.
So I'm not just basing it off of random things.
All right.
So yeah, you get 4 temporary hit points, and it just wants to fight you back. Go ahead and make a grapple check just to see if you're able to stay on as it kicks.
Oh, my strength's so bad. 12.
12, it kicks, and it kicks you off hard. You're going to take 2 points damage as you skid to the ground, and it squeals at you, and it's going to just book it away from you. Chase me, is what you hear as the drums get louder in the back of your head.
And I just go.
Okay, roll me athletics.
3. I'm so weak.
So you begin to really just book it. You are flying, but every single branch seems to be in your way, smacking you in the face. You try and duck, and you run into one, you trip over it, and the beating just gets louder. It actually drives you more, and you hear that, chase me. And as you kind of come to a small clearing, you see the boar, and it has a small trickle of blood outside of where you cut through some of the muscle, and it's staring you down.
I run in and I bite it.
Go ahead and roll to attack.
Bonus action. Natural 1.
Oh, no. Okay. You take 4 points of damage as you run to bite, and its tusk just seems to turn perfectly as you impale yourself into the shoulder with its tusk. And you hear this very soft and full laugh in the back of your head. Almost, you're not quite sure if it's mocking you or impressed. And it's going to try and toss you around one more time. That is a 12 to hit.
18 AC.
18 AC. So it tries to rear back, but you're stuck close enough that when it pulls back its tusk, you're too close and it can't seem to take a swipe at you. It's your turn. What do you want to do?
So it goes to swipe at me with a tusk, 2nd level, inflict wounds.
Okay.
You are a traitor. Natural 20.
Nat 20. Beautiful.
From 1 to 20.
So
On
max dice and then your regular dice roll.
Where are all my... Why can I not see my D10s? So it's max plus?
Yes. Plus ultra, if you will.
So 7,
This is a bad pun
14,
episode.
Apparently, I'm so
23.
sorry.
That is going to be 63 points of necrotic damage.
Whoa.
6-3.
Inflict wounds is 4d10, so if it's max plus, that's straight 40 plus 23.
Hell yeah, I love it. Not what I planned, and that's what I love about D&D. All right, so tell me what does this look like? You down the creature, but what does it look like?
So probably just channels whatever divine strength that he has in his hands to create it, and as it comes at him with a tusk, he just grabs it and you feel it just radiate into the body until it can just slowly stop the life.
Mm-hmm.
He just brings it to the ground. It's kind of slowly, like, if it, like, drops, he'll kind of, like, drop to his knees with it and, like, gently lower it.
As you reach out and you grab onto that tusk, your blood on the tusk itself, your blood seems to be the source, and it's now cracking into the bone. You can hear the bone shift, and the boar makes a very loud squeal, but it's not fighting you. It's trying to pull away, but it's too weak. You can see these tendrils from black to red seep down, and you can see those red tendrils reach up the mask of the snout all the way to its brain and shooting like lightning bolts across the hide from shoulder to tail, and you bring it down to the ground. And the beating of the drums, silence.
Kind of take a moment and just kind of put my forehead to its head and kind of just thank it for the chase.
Mm-hmm.
And realize that this thing is huge, and I am a spindly, weak little man. So I'm just going to try and just get to work removing the head. I need the skull at least for the con. Get everybody back here in the morning. We can pull this thing back for the meat later.
So as you do this, you hear a very soft, and out from the line of trees, you see a very long skull, antelope skull mask on what seems to be a humanoid of some sort. As the light of the waning day and moonlight seem to catch them, you can't tell, is their skin midnight black? Is it just this effervescent pearl? Is it glowing red? You're not 100% certain. She wears a very long gown that has a sash across herself, and you can't even see her mouth the way that the antelope mask covers her face. And she goes, "Well done, Draxel. Well done."
Was that you I heard?
It was you that you heard, but it was me that incited the war, incited the hunt, the need.
Yes.
You are an interesting cleric. You turned away my brother.
Wait, your brother was the other guy?
He was the other guy, yes.
I felt the need for something different.
You have the need to protect, to avenge, and to strike first and fast.
Yes.
Yes. You have the hunt inside of you. Do not.
I believe that I do. It feels right. Natural.
You went looking for this boar yourself. You came out here for yourself. You had goals, but it was ready. And you knew how to climb those trees. You knew how to drop. You knew the place. And if it wasn't but of my child, this boar creature, you would have killed it on your first blow. You know that. You know that. Tell me, you've turned away my brother. Will you turn me away? And she offers you a very long hand. These fingers that seem to come to points. More bone than flesh, it seems. And you can sense that hunt coming from her.
Kind of like reach out to take the hand. I can't predict my future, but this feels right.
I hate to dabble in predicting the future. It is an ugly task for sages and saints who believe they know more or want to know how they end. But here's two things that I can give you. And she reaches towards the boar, and where your cuts had started to break through, her fingers seem to just go through the flesh, and she pulls out a bleached, perfectly clean boar skull for you. And she reaches into her dress, and she pulls out a smaller bone with gold inlay in Kitsunubi style for your friend.
My friend?
Your friend. The one that is so passionate to stay quiet.
Right.
Be my envoy, make me proud, and follow your heart to the hunt.
I will.
Good. Good.
So I'm going to try and get this thing out of here.
Yeah, you do that. You do that. Have fun. My brother said you were a talkative one.
Yeah. Bye. Or unless you want to help. I don't know. I'm just going to...
You're going to...
I'm just going to get some...
I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And she turns back into the forest.
Okay. Gonna take some of my rope, see if I can wrap it around. I'm gonna try, and if not, I'm gonna bring everybody else back in the morning.
Okay. Roll me another survival.
Don't fail me. 22.
22. Yeah,
Ooh.
you are like now that you are you've accepted the hand of this goddess, of the goddess of some sort of hunt, of war, of battle, of something. You find yourself moving fluidly. You don't even need to think about it. This comes not even second nature. This is what you were born to do. And the rope and the knots and everything seems to make it all easy. You know how to lay down some leaves so that way it doesn't drag and tear away the flesh. You are confident you'll be able to drag this thing back to Gramules.
Let's go.
All right. So as you're dragging that back, Vea and Rain, are you guys wanting to do anything while you guys are? You're just kind of like, I'm gonna go do a thing. Bye. I'll be back.
I mean, I feel like Rain would have a lot of trouble focusing because he's like feeling anxious already about like the spells and finding something that's going to fit for their trip.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also pretty empathetic, I think, and he would like feel kind of like with Vea's energy and being excited, and I think he would probably come like at least study with her.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe try to chat since he's not able to focus well. And she seems to be holding back this like excitement. So what do you think about this convention out in the woods and everything? It's going to be really different, huh?
I guess I'm not sure though. I haven't been to a whole lot of, cons, and then all these ones we've been to have all been different.
That's true. That's true.
And where you would find her is she's probably just somewhere close by. If Gramima has flowers or something, she would have found like a blossoming flower, and she's just sitting there with it constantly blossoming. Like she is powering this flower to just be blossoming.
I mean, I think he would definitely be like watching that, not necessarily with unease, but just kind of like trying to figure out how he's going to like fit into this sort of environment. That's pretty how are you doing that?
From being a druid, it's just natural to me. I can make these seeds blossom, and then she'll stop that, and then just starting around you can smell like the fragrance from the flower. She's like, or I can amplify these sweet smells. It's just natural to me. So I'm excited to travel out and see a new place, new trees,
new life. Must be nice.
I spent most of my life in the same area. This past little bit has been very different, but not bad different. And everything is a process. So it's a process of the seed falling into the ground, growing out, blossoming, and then wilting and falling back to the earth. Everything fits together.
This might be a little personal, but how did you know that this was the path that you wanted to take? That you said it felt right. Like, how did you know?
It has just always been. What family I have all been druids.
Oh.
And then the spirits that the one in particular, well, a tailor, yes, he spins silk. Learning the nature of that, learning that an animal can produce beautiful fabrics, learning what beautiful colors can come from different blossoms. It just all came together.
And I think he kind of hesitates for a minute and just kind of comes and sits down and is like, I get it when you say that you just knew, but I guess it's hard because where I come from, the kind of magic I do is not the sort of thing people get excited about. That is, we definitely like respect life. Like, I think I have a more appreciation than ever for how important life is when you're dealing with death all the time. But I think people don't see that. They just see it as something scary and hard to understand. But I feel like I'm finding a place again, and I just wanted to thank you for that. But I don't want to put you guys in danger, and this is gonna sound so stupid, but you know how, like, I wear masks all the time, and so the place I grew up is not super into necromancy, and I maybe accidentally caused a lot of problems there. And they were not happy with me when I left. I don't know if you've heard of the Church of Azuth, but I don't know, would she?
You could roll a history check.
8.
There's so many churches. It rings a bell, but you're not quite sure what their mission is.
But anyway, when I was practicing some minor stuff, that it kind of, well, anyway, I don't think they would ever hurt us, but I don't want it to cause you guys any trouble if they come looking. Yeah. And I've just tried to stay away since then, but I just wanted to thank you guys for giving me a place that made me feel like I could stay.
It doesn't sound like your intentions were nefarious.
No, but they don't have to be for people to see them that way.
It's so stupid. It's I don't know. Think about like every story we ever read, and there's like a big bad guy, and they're, everyone's against the big bad guy, and we have to stop him and everything because he does this, and this, and they'll name something like that on its own doesn't have a side. Necromancy doesn't have a side. And they'll demonize that person for doing that, and then anyone on the good side who does something like that is immediately shunned and made to feel like a jerk simply for being interested or proficient. But they never ever go after the person who's using radiant magic to support the villain. They never go after a healer for healing that person. Magic in any form it's not innately one way or another. So I don't know, it's kind of sad that you were made to feel that way.
I mean, I guess I never thought about it that way.
I mean, isn't the person keeping the big baddie alive? Aren't they just as bad as that person? And so shouldn't we demonize people who have the same powers as them in the same way by those standards?
Yeah, I think so. You're right.
So I'll never, me personally, and Drax too, I'm sure, we're never gonna think poorly of you. And so if nothing else, you have us. I'm sure Tolan and Grandma feel the same way.
Well, as long as you guys know, I mean, I would never hurt you.
I don't think you would.
That's good. And I just want to make sure you guys aren't in any danger because of any stupid stuff I did.
We'll figure it out if it happens, because I don't know, I'm not used to having people stick around, or even myself attempting to be around people, so this is a change, but it's nice.
Yeah. And he tries to give an awkward hug. To be like, is it okay if I hug you? Mm-hmm. Okay. Feels a little bit better about it because his tail has been twitching really nervously, but he feels a lot more comfortable around her. Cool. What are you looking forward to at the convention? Trying to so casually change the subject.
She's just it's a different forest, and I'm really curious about it because I kind of remember something like I know that the tree we're going to is named after the guy who planted the forest, but it's like making fun of him because his name was Wizpin, but they're calling the tree Wicepin.
Oh, huh.
And I don't know, and maybe it's some weird slight at him. I don't know. I'm curious though, and it's fun to go to new places, and especially to go to new places and then get to see the nature there, because those are all things that will be really, really important and a part of my life as I get stronger. And
Yeah, definitely.
that eventually I can just walk through trees.
Through trees?
Yeah. So it's really exciting. Eventually I'll be so in tune with the earth that it just becomes natural to move tree to tree. So imagine if I just went to all these cool places and found just the most unique, different looking, beautiful trees, and I get to say that's my mode of travel. Oh, it's just exciting.
I think like Rain may not like know what she's talking about, but he's still like nodding along excitedly and like still.
And while she is insightful and usually notices that kind of thing, she is off imagining like what this new forest holds, like what's so special about this tree that an entire convention is built around it. Is her personal tree eventually going to get that grandiose? Like, she's gone.
And I just imagine, like, over time throughout the night, he's just, like, sitting there with his spell book, nodding, and then she just keeps going and just getting more slowly tired.
Vea, are you doing any research specifically, like, towards this forest?
Probably not right now. Like, she's kind of processing everything they got, information-wise. It would probably be in the next day that she would want to go out and just kind of get in tune, and then maybe go see, what the local library has. But I think on this first night, it's more of a excitement processing. She's spending time with her friends.
Okay. So you guys kind of like, you're still spouting off like how excited you are about this tree, like what little facts you know. Rain, you are definitely starting to like, not to be rude, but Rain's just so out of it. But Vea, you're just so excited about it. And then you hear a knock at the door, and you see that there is a Draxel with like almost this backpack of a rope and a not quite bloodied boar, but like something's wrong with its skull for sure. And are you wearing the skull, or are you holding on to it? What are you doing?
I don't think he'd be wearing it yet, but it would be if he had like an extra like bag on him or like a small cloth bag or one. It would be well like protected and carried with him.
Okay, so yeah, it's like satcheled up like at your side, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. And yeah, you are at the door, and your two friends, and probably Grammy Ma too, is like, so late. What's going on? And yeah, you've got the boar behind you.
Hey guys,
busy night.
A successful night.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say, Grammy Ma. I mean, you're not my Grammy Ma. What can I call you?
You can call me Grammy Ma. If you want to call me Maggie, you can call me Maggie.
Call you Maggie? Do you like prefer like your last name and like Mrs. or what do you prefer? I never actually asked. I'm sorry.
It's totally fine, sweetheart. You can continue to call me Grammy Ma or just Maggie.
All right, Maggie.
Yes, dear.
Do you have any kind of like cold storage or anywhere we can like start storing this or sell this? Should I deliver this to a? But like I went out and this is a lot.
I'm sure Billy will be more than happy to have something to eat closer to his size, but I imagine you want to share this with the household?
Well, I mean, yeah, if everybody's down for some meat.
All right, come on. Let's take it downstairs. Right next, 2 doors down from Tolan's room, we've got a light cold storage. You might have to chop it up a little bit before you get it in there. Let me go get my cleaver.
All right, let's get to work.
Eventually she comes out, and it's not just like a little hand cleaver. It's like like a Goliath cleaver kind of thing. And she goes, "You want to?
Yes, please.
There you go, sweetness. There you go.
And I will start chopping this thing up.
Roll me one more survival check just to see how well you cut it in pieces.
22.
Hell yeah. You are dexterous with this thing. You're not just like, yeah, you are like guiding the meat. You're pulling back joints so you can get right in between the joint. Beautiful cuts between the meat. You are able to separate the legs, the ribs. You're able to get clean cuts right off the bone.
Okay. Nice. All right, take it down, store it. Do I have like any? I don't know if it's in my inventory. Would there be like parchment around or some kind of paper? All right, so I'm gonna go kind of like, I don't think I have a pencil or chalk or anything, so I'm just probably gonna take some of the blood. Grab one of those. And do you say that the goddess, like, her hands were like bony too? Sorry, I was really okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna do the best that I can to like kind of like just draw that in with it, just like have like an image of them.
Oh, okay. I don't know what to make you roll for that in this instance. We'll go for your default skill, whatever your default skill would be for that. Like, I think for wisdom, is it for clerics?
If it's wisdom is my main stat.
Yeah, your main stat. Excuse me. Just a wisdom check.
13.
It's not your best rendering. And like you recognize the hands. You recognize the antelope. Like, you're kind of blanking on what color was the dress, what color was their hair, did they even have any hair? Like, you remember that there was a sash, or maybe it was a sash style of the dress. When you think about it, you don't even remember seeing feet. You're not 100% certain. But like, you're getting like bits and pieces of the image of this goddess.
Okay. Is Rain still up? Because you said you were like nodding off.
Yeah, I mean, when there's a giant carcass at the door, I assume he woke up. He's probably trying to be helpful because he likes cooking and is probably familiar with how to take down bigger pieces of meat. So he's probably using some of Mima's knives and whatnot to help break stuff down.
Yeah, I'm just gonna probably go find Range. Like, hey, bro.
Hey.
Question.
Okay.
Do you recognize this? I'm gonna hold up like the picture that I.
Yeah. You can roll a history check if you like.
5.
Sorry, you're aware now.
No.
Okay, so I met them, and they asked me to give you this, and I pull out the other little bone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he looks really startled to see that, but he does hold out his hand, and like, what kind of bone is it?
Looks like another raven bone.
That's kind of what I thought.
They kind of asked me to give you this.
Oh. Who did they have a name?
No, I didn't get their name.
Oh.
Or the last one. I don't. Crap. You know, they did not.
Oh. Thank you.
I was kind of just out in the forest, kind of just focused, like hunting, and they found me when I took this thing down, and they asked me to give you this.
Oh.
So I don't know if you like knew them. So I want to, like, I'm terrible at description, so I want to kind of like draw the picture.
No, I don't. But I appreciate the sentiment all the same, and I'll put it in my collection.
Okay, good. I'll help clean up, and then I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah, big night for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing is huge.
Right, I didn't think I could take this down, but here we are.
Yeah. Wow. Bacon for dinner. Or bacon for breakfast? What time is it?
It's probably like 3-4 o'clock in the morning at this point. You guys have been just kind of like chatting it up this entire time as you've been cutting down some of the fat, and you're not quite ready to render anything, but you're confident that you'll be able to make some like pretty good meals with Mima's help even for the next long while. It will be boar and pig foods. Do you guys want to call it a night and then move into the next day at all, or?
Yeah.
3 a.m., yeah.
Bless you.
So you all kind of call it a night. Rain, you kind of feel a little at ease, kind of letting someone in a little bit. There's still that like, oh my gosh, did I say too much kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is not Rain's mental place, please correct me. But
Oh no, that's definitely like, oh no.
I feel like I know Rain a little bit because Rain is me. But there's like, you feel good that you let someone in. There's still that anxiety of just like, oh my gosh, did I say too much? Did I make them uncomfortable? Like,
I have the meme of like, oh no, I was emotionally slutty.
Oh my God.
Why are you attacking me like this? Why are you doing this? Roll me an audacity check to see attacking your DM. So yeah, you feel pretty like just good with a slight hint of anxiety, but you sleep pretty peacefully. And Draxel, you sleep with just satisfaction and almost this unknowing like need for a connection to something. You are feeling more empowered. You ever have those nights where you go to bed just exhausted, but you feel so accomplished.
Yeah.
That's definitely how you sleep, and you sleep so thoroughly. And Vea, you have dreams of different types of trees, different from your own, and it feels like potential and very exciting. And Talon, it falls asleep with Billy just like scooping Talon into Billy, and you hear a heh! And then just kind of okay. As they fall asleep. Morning comes. Grandma wakes you up, Rain, to like help render some of the bacon out, and you notice it doesn't take very long that this was taken down by a spell. It wasn't necessarily one of the standard, just like a knife to the knife and then take it out. It was specifically this the inflict wounds spell. It screams that it was Draxel. But what you notice is that like it starts out black, and you can see that those red tendrils. You know that something happened with Draxel's power at this point. You don't necessarily think it's bad. You just know there is change that happened here. Do you want to say or do anything with Maggie, or just make breakfast and get everything ready to go?
Sorry, I'm taking notes real quick. No, I mean, I don't think he would have anything particular to say to Aunt Maggie or Grandma unless she brought something up first, because he's still kind of just like working through, and he'd probably like notice the tendrils and stuff, but I don't know that he would say anything aloud. Okay. Just kind of process it.
Okay. Yeah, and she just kind of has idle chit chat with you for the morning, sleep well, all that kind of thing. And you guys make some bacon, some eggs on the side, and she gives you a tray and goes, "Go ahead, take it down to your friends. You guys stayed up late. Have a long day. Take care of yourselves."
Bacon and ham steaks.
Yep. And yeah, and she sends you on your way, and the two of you probably have a very lazy morning waking up, but you do wake up to the smell of bacon, eggs, some fresh squeezed orange juice, and some lemonade. What do the three of you like to do this?
Oh boy. I don't know. We have like a week to figure stuff out before the convention.
Yeah.
I assume they're like sitting together at the breakfast table. I guess now that we've had a chance to sleep on it, I guess I was thinking maybe we could go a little bit early and see what the area is like. If it's out in nature, then it's going to be a lot easier to navigate than all of those like candles and stuff we had to do last time.
Yeah, that was horrible.
And we can at least like plan our whatever we're gonna do.
I mean, I don't really know what we're gonna. If it's just like find people for them, then I don't really know. I mean, do you guys have any thoughts? Because I don't know until I'm out there and like tracking. So I live in the moment. I don't.
We definitely want to know like what are the best vantage points, I guess, and where we don't want to get ambushed. But just like being able to have eyes on the convention and knowing where to look safely might be good. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Kind of feel for the people around.
Yeah.
Not just the people there for the convention, but the influences the area has, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we don't want to run into another dungeon full of traps.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Do we know what kind of things are at this convention? You guys haven't been, right?
Trees.
Well, I mean, like things to do, things that like places.
Bart.
No, I guess events is what I'm meaning that they run at the convention, so we can really watch for what events they might be drawn to if they're like collecting these people who are really good. I mean, normally, yeah, just the cosplay contest, but in case there's other events at the convention.
That's true. They do seem to go after people with proficiency in all kinds of artistic endeavors. So
I mean, what do you guys think that they would actually, I don't think we've ever found anyone in like any of the artist alley or anything selling other artistic things. Like find different places to scope out or different events to like pre-plan, like get our agenda, our schedule.
I like it. Sounds good. Always better to, I think, just to be there ahead of time and prepare what little we can.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't know, would we be able to find like a schedule online?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Like since it's within a week of the con, you'll be able to find on the fantasy message boards more or less a schedule. They do have a cosplay contest on Saturday, judging to be earlier in the day. They have just a few panels here and there. They've got a few, I wouldn't say big voice actors, but people that would be like mid-tier voice actors. The that one guy who has like 45 different like additional voice titles, and like games and whatnot. So a couple of those. They do have like an archery kind of thing, like paintball archery.
Nice.
They do have like a few classes on ascending trees and whatnot. They have a very large artist alley. They have a blind artist auction for people to submit their art, and then for the auction to be all blind. So like you put down a bid and you don't necessarily see yourself or who you're bidding against. And then just the end result is whoever bid the highest in those blind moments. That's going to be like late on a Sunday. Is there anything else that you're looking for or you think? I'm also making some of this up on the top of my head. So.
I think anything that would stick out would be like if they were having like art contests or art, I don't know, like arts and crafts kind of panels, like crafting and who it would be hosted by.
Sure.
Like some cons will do like make and take panels,
Okay.
or they'll like specify in this, or they'll look for like a specific skill set, or if they have cosplayer guests who are teaching panels about different types of crafting.
Okay.
That might be good to know what their schedules are like.
There is a cosplay panel. The guest has not been announced yet. It's been like in the documentation of it. It is a surprise cosplay guest. But they're like very big name, big person. Be there, be square. Kind of gonna miss out. They have a painting night. Just kind of wine and painting kind of thing. And then they do have a few classes of like cosplay 101 kind of mentality. Not seeing anything like master class or high tier, but those are the ones that are jumping out to you.
Okay.
As like crafting or opportunities to show how creative someone may be.
Okay. I mean, I think the only thing to get from that is that he'd want to keep an eye on like whoever the cosplay guest is. See if it's anyone they know, and probably like just keep an eye on the panel for anyone that seems shady.
If you wanted to do like some research to find out like if you could figure out who the celebrity guest is, you could roll an investigation to see if you could find clues. Again, you're on the message boards, you're like following people's social and who's going to be there, who's saying they're going to be there.
I mean, I'll give it a shot.
They've been doing those like really vague tweets. They're just like, and this person is a master of this. Like, so when they finally announce it, people are like, oh.
Ooh, 23.
23. She is not hiding it very well on her social media.
Wow.
But kind of following along and like following hashtags and whatnot of who's going to be there, you find out about Gree Faye Cosplay. This is that full elf cosplayer who was very haughty. Towards the rest of you. She was very, very quick to talk down about your costumes, masterclass when you first met her, and they have not announced it, but you can definitely like. It's not hard to say like, oh, I can't wait to be a guest here at this con, and like, they're gonna have me as one of the judges. Oh my goodness! And it's cringe. It's nothing but cringe. She's very excited to talk about herself in this moment. She hasn't announced what her costume is, but it definitely feels like it's gonna be something from Naruto.
I mean, I feel like Rain would definitely share this with the group.
Okay.
So, you remember that this was a while ago. Remember the first time we competed together? And there was that one cosplayer who was not super nice.
Oh, the not very likable one.
Yeah. So, turns out, she's gonna be the guest of honor at the convention. Just as a heads up to, like, mentally prepare for that, because I know I'm gonna have to.
We saved her, and then she's in our debt forever. And we have something to hold over her head.
I mean, that's
She was
true.
so mean.
Yeah.
I've known people like that. You can save them and they'll twist it and talk about how they were so great. I don't think this will even...
Yeah, but internally, on some level.
Some level she'll have to know, and it's that like internal pain we can go for. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Look, she was mean, okay?
Yeah. I don't know, she'll be teaching, like, some panels while she's there. So we might want to keep an eye, like, I mean, I know she's dreadful, but they might not care so much if they can control her mind.
I mean, she's in the master class for a reason.
Yeah. She's also teaching, like, I don't know if she's teaching this panel or not, but there's a Cosplay 101 panel. I don't know, like, as a beginner...
She's just gonna go there and
or
talk down
formerly
to
a
everyone?
beginner. I don't know if that's the person I'd want to learn from, but yeah, maybe. Maybe she won't talk down, maybe she'll just talk about how wonderful she is. Which, I mean, she's a very good crafter.
Going to be repeating that in my head.
Oh, in my investigating,
Yes.
would I have found anything for crafting and beyond, that card that the centaur had? That was his, like, crafting organization he was trying to recruit.
So roll me another investigation, because
Okay.
these are two different, like...
Yeah. Just in case he'd have, like, a table in the artist alley, or a sponsor of the convention, or...
Jaguar Quinn says, throw out the whole person.
I got an 18 plus 4, so 22.
Wow, you're doing
Yeah.
great.
Make up for the early bad ones.
Make up for all my bad ones. I got one good roll today.
So you stumble across, like, they're not going to be at this con. Very simple. They're not going to be at this con in an official presence. You're not seeing any sponsorship from this group. You're not seeing anything along those lines. But you do find, like, where they are hosted. And they are very, very new. They started probably about 6-8 months ago at this point. And then you find very quickly that this is a daughter company of something. And then as you investigate that path, they are a daughter company of a daughter company of a daughter company. And they all sort into the Mail, Mesh, and Chain Fund. Some sort of company that hosts different events, seems to be into blacksmithing. It's one of those companies that's, like, they seem like they talk about what they do in such language that you have no idea what they do.
Would they have, like, a list of their affiliates and their daughter companies?
It took you quite some time to find this list. but you're not finding any names that sound consistent. You know, it's not like you're finding, oh, like, hey, this is Duracell kind of thing. Or
Right.
finding the chain of all the Duracell brands or whatever. Leading it, you know, how Taco Bell is owned by Pepsi. For it, like, some of the names that you're finding and the ones that are familiar are no longer in existence.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
What was the name of the parent company again?
Mail Mesh and Chain Fund?
Yes.
So the other daughter ones are like mostly not around anymore.
Yeah, they seem to, for lack of a better term, these are shell corporations. They make something, and once they maybe too much attention or anything along those lines, it seems to like, you know, we're sad to say we have to close our doors due to these things. If you're looking for any support, go to our competitor, which happens to be another one of those daughter corporations.
Okay. I mostly was like wondering if he would have found among the like daughter companies and the ones that are probably outdated by now, if any of them would have also been part of BarkCon.
You're not seeing any connection to BarkCon. You have seen Necrocomicon. There was one of those daughter companies. And at this point, it seems like they're starting to go into that like final closing. We sold too much, and now we can't keep our doors open and whatnot. So, like, it'll be closed soon in and of itself.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty good find right there. So.
Oh, fantastic roll. Fantastic. Okay. Anything else you guys are thinking about?
Like, are we still having this conversation, or did
I
you,
assume like split off to do the research and stuff, but he would have come over to tell them about the cosplay guest since it's someone they all knew.
Because Vea wants to go try to find anything about this forest, from like geographical stuff to even stories, like legends, fairy tales around there, just to kind of get a feel for like the energy of the place without a con.
Sure. Are you going to be investigating, or are you kind of doing like a druidic kind of investigation, of like looking in and seeing what you can learn from your past experiences and whatnot?
She would go to the forest first to try to find inspiration. Like, she assumes she's gonna have to end up at a library because nature is big. There's a lot. So I think she would go out and just try to make a connection. Just tune in, probably just walk among the trees and all that for maybe an hour. And then it would become more of a pointed, hoping she has inspiration to know what to do, but she assumes she'll end up at the local library.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a nature check first and foremost.
She'd like it if the trees told her everything.
What is your connection to the green today, my child? 12. As you walk through the forest, you see a completely different side of the forest that Draxel does. And this is something that you kind of like reminisce on in a moment where Draxel is so focused on what's living here. You kind of ask yourself, what's thriving here? And you are finding yourself walking across the trees and feeling the grass grow and what brushes pass across your skin. And for a brief moment, you feel that connection. And with that connection, you kind of remember, and it comes to you, that the tree in the Wise Pine Forest is a Kori tree, Kauri. If you would like to know the scientific name, it is Agathis australis, which is a dope name. It is one of the largest trees known across this world. There are definitely taller trees, but this one has been known to be living for 190 million years. As far as like where people can find these trees, how long they've been in existence, they've even been known to have high connection to not even druids, but to different cultures of people throughout the land. the bark itself doesn't grow in the same way that bark does, of just as a shell. It grows out and up, so you can even see the bark spiral upward as it also is being pushed out from the base. So it gets to a point. That point might be, several feet across in comparison to the base, but it's still, it kind of comes to that spirally point. It has large branches. You know that it's so large that not only people can live comfortably on the branches, but whole communities can be separated from one branch to another based on the age of the tree itself. It was planted by a druid halfling named Whizpin, and you get the sense that it's not necessarily making fun by calling it Wise Pine. It's just that history has forgotten the minute details of it all. But it is connected because of how high it grows against everything else in the canopy, but it's also not a root system that tries to draw all the nutrients away. It's much more like aspen-like, where it sends nutrients out to other, what most nature would consider opposing life. So there's a lot of trees, a lot of bush, a lot of animals that successfully thrive near the Kori tree.
Check that really fast. How is that spelled again? The tree?
Kauri. It's based off of an actual Kori tree from the native peoples of New Zealand, called the Te Matau Negeri. I'm sure I butchered that.
Okay, so it's funny. I have to say why I needed to clarify that, because her dream spirit is a Kori spirit, just spelled different. So I was like, oh god.
Yep. It was something that I was doing research about trees. I was like, how do I make this? And then, because I always want to make sure that I'm catering to some feature for each of you. And when it was like, oh, it's known in the Kori to be named to Kori, I was like, hello, yes.
Awesome. Okay. And that's information that she would share. Like, okay, it makes sense if entire communities can thrive on the street. It makes sense that a convention can be there.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything I don't know, even poems or thing about Whizpin, or I guess Wise Pine? His, I guess, influence on the time he was there. It's more of a personal thing than anything she thinks she would gain from it, but she's just really trying to think of this as this tree sounds so cool.
You're not picking up on any vibes when it comes to history or anything along those lines through the trees. At this point, you know that you'd have to make it to the library.
Okay.
You feel like you know the minutia of the environment and not necessarily the history of it.
Mm. And she would like to, even getting this, still go to the library.
Mm-hmm.
She's very interested in what things are written down objectively, and what things are written down objectively in a different side of the country where you could actually say it's objective.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then when they actually go, she wants to check on what they say about the history there.
Okay. What are the differences between what one culture reads about it and whatnot? Okay. Yeah. Roll me another investigation check for me. 3. You're a little bit kind of caught off guard. With the fact that this is such an ancient story, you're not finding too much about Whizpin. And again, it's such an old story. The most that you can find is that the Kori tree itself was probably planted thousands of years ago, to the point where it's right on the edge of the eldest elf's lore kind of mentality. So you would have to find a very old elf to tell you about the time that the tree was planted, and how a whole forest was grown around it. So you're not finding too much about Whizpin. You find a little bit about the forest itself. Go ahead and roll me another investigation check.
Natural 20!
Natural 20! You know that there is a traveling group of Aarakocra that live in this area. In most of your books, they say they live peacefully with the wood elves that live also in the tree. Based on what you can see is that some of the wood elves live and die in the tree before they ever actually see the ground. There's some fun lore about how the wood elves have lived in the tree for so long that they grew feathers and they became the Aarakocra people. But that's entirely just a tall tale that is told to children, kind of thing. You're also getting the sense that a lot of hunting is done here, but it's not necessarily for sport. It is very much for the survival of everything in the forest, and the forest seems to be even like thriving around a community of people that you kind of come to the conclusion that Wizpin planted this so that way humanoids and creatures with some sort of sentience could live in conjunction with the forest, and they grow together.
That's so cool. And that's really all the goals she had set out in mind.
Okay.
Is just learning things about the area, any relevant stories she could come back and tell.
Yeah. So you get all that information. Cool. You come back home. We are close to wrapping it up. So is there anything that you guys would want to say or do? Major plans for the convention? I know that we want to avoid that too much without our dear friend Mercedes here.
I don't really think so from my point. I would say that Draxel being so not smart, he would leave the investigating to the two of you, but he knows that the focus of the mission is track and hunt, essentially. So he would spend his time just in the forest for the most part.
Okay.
I think outside of the stuff he did online, Rin would probably, he's got a few of these bones now. He would probably, try to, investigate anything he could figure out from them, if there's any, magical attributes to them, if there's any, just study them, probably.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me just one more investigation.
Please be good. 11.
Your luck had to run out.
I know.
Most that you're finding, you learn about the art of Kitsunugi. You learn, the kind of the significance that a lot of people draw upon it of you're not broken, you come together and you build yourself shinier and new. Kind of, very white girl Instagram kind of mentality. You're not finding anything as far as specifically bones to Kitsunugi, any historical reference. This is definitely something new.
Okay.
You're not sure what's going on there.
Would he be able to do a detect magic sort of thing?
Yeah, you can definitely. I'll just have you roll an Arcana check.
Okay. 17.
These are not raven bones in the way that you know them.
Okay.
There's something that magically created the raven itself. They you can't really detect what magic it was, but you can definitely tell that this could be a homunculus raven of some sort. This was made. This wasn't born.
Okay. Really need to organize my notes because they're all over the place. Okay.
And Vea.
No, after telling them this stuff, she's just thinking about it.
So, Tolan has been helping Grandmama with setting up a large, very large, just little outhouse shelter for Billy to sit, and they're trying to figure out how do they get a kitty door to the size of and Grandmama eventually comes up with a small rune that does need to be recharged every now and again, but it has a large and shrink spell on the rune, so that way, and they're trying to train Billy into tap it on when you need to come in, tap it. And so they're training Billy on how to tap the rune to enlarge a kitty door large enough for Billy to come inside, specifically to go downstairs, and then to tap it again when they're inside, so that way they can shrink and close it. Drexel, you find yourself constantly, when you are in the forest and you're getting in tune with it, and you're on a hunt again, you can hear that as you're starting to and you know that this is feeling really good. You're not hearing the laughter, you're not hearing the verbiage of chase me, but it almost feels like you're in sync again with something. And Bea, you also are just doing some research, doing some light, just kind of like thinking back on what you learned and what's the impact of Whizpin and the grandiosity of a legacy that you can leave behind. After a little while, you do receive a very large letter in the mail, and it's got all of your names written on it. And as you open it up, it's, congratulations, you've won a free trip to the BarkCon. All expense paid, and you can see that little hammer sigil right at the base of it. And then it says, be at the docks in 1 week's time for an all expense trip to the con. We'll even make sure that your apartment and everything along those lines is taken care of. And if you need any spending money, and like as you continue to fold out this letter, 50 gold drops from it that the four of you could split up however you like. And with that, I think we are going to end the game. You now have prepped. You have learned new things about each other. You have created a bond with a new god, and learned a little bit more about druidic history in the world of Terrathor. I think that's it. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Thank you, David.
Thank you guys. Thank you, dear audience. Thank you, my players. Who absolutely love having you here.
In Mercedes' absence, I drew the kill.
Oh,
nice.
Wow,
that's
so
perfect. I drew Draxel's picture.
Yeah! Ooh, that's so cool.
His blood finger paints.
Oh,
I
man.
love that.
That is so good.
Oh my gosh.
It reminds me of the cover for like the ritual.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be like one of the fears from the Magnus Archive.
Right.
The way that it like is so imposing. Love it. Oh, that's
Very
so
cool.
good. So we will, of course, be putting up the audio later. So for those of you who are listening in post, thank you so much for joining us. Where can we find all of your works? Dustin, where can we find you online?
Skysteel Art on Twitter and Skysteel Cosplay on Instagram.
And Jazzy?
Crimson Nova Cos on Twitter.
Pannon?
Pannon on Instagram, Pannonation on Twitter, the Pannonators Fantastic Cosplay on Facebook.
You had to choose like the longest name possible.
Well, Pannon was taken.
Really?
It was really taken. I guess it's like some college in Europe or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
And if for whatever reason you wish to follow me, you can follow me at CrestSphinx on Twitter and at the CrestSphinx on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I feel like I'm blanking out. Oh, Fox Beauty Cosmetics.
Yes.
Yay.
Are we wearing any?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the color 2004 in the lip color line with the 05 glitter gloss over it.
Ooh.
He just got his eyeshadow palette and it is to die for.
Ooh,
It
yay.
looked really good.
It's so cool. I was playing around with it. He was over at our house playing D&D last night. And I was just like, I love this. Like,
Nice.
beautiful glitters and colors that blend together awesomely. I cannot wait for it to actually be mine.
Yes.
So exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting. So go ahead, check out Fox Beauty Cosmetics, FOXX Beauty Cosmetics. And like Pannon said last game, if you got something nerdy that you want to, we're not getting compensated. We would love to talk about your stuff, anything along those lines. But as we wrap up, remember to care yourself, be kind. It is the holiday season. Make sure that you're putting time for yourself. That is a priority. And as we wrap up, may all of your dice rolls at least be interesting. Bye, everybody!
Bye.